Well, hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I am halfway through doing my makeup because I want to implement one of these eyeshadows in my eye look today, and I want to do that before I finish up my foundation. But we are looking at the Patrick Tar Major Dimension, what is it? Major Dimension Eye Illusion Eyeshadow Duo. So a few of you have asked me about these. I've never tried them. I do have some Patrick Tar eyeshadow palettes, but apparently these are completely different. And there is some outrage at the price point of these as well. Patrick Tar has actually had to come online and defend the situation because people are kind of outraged at the price.
Let's have a little conversation about my eyeshadow duos. There has been a lot of conversation around my eyeshadow duos and the pricing, so I wanted to get on here and just talk about the formula. The eyeshadows in these duos are not your normal eyeshadows. These are not a pressed formula. These are not a cream. These are what you call a slurry. What is so special about this formula to me is that this formula has no filler in it. This is a baked formula and you are getting 100% pearl. When you swatch this, I have yet to be able to find a pearl that looks like this, applies like this, and will stay like this when you put it onto your eyes. You can obviously use these eyeshadows however you want, but I just wanted to show you guys how I intended to use them. I like using them as a topper, but I'm going to show you onto my palm and then show you with the light and how this looks. So I put them onto my palm. Do you guys see the intensity of this pearl? This is 100% pearl. I just love applying these onto like a matte eyeshadow and having that scattered diamond effect on the eye. It just is the most beautiful thing. I wanted to pull out some other products that are out there on the market right now just to show you guys the pricing. So this is a fan favorite right now. This is $24 for 1.7 grams of product. And I don't want to say if this product has a filler or not, or a base, but with mine, you are getting 4 grams of 100% pearl. This one right here is $30 for a single eyeshadow. You are getting 1.4 grams. This MAC eyeshadow right here, this is $25. This is a matte eyeshadow. Pearl definitely costs a lot more. This one right here, this is $26. And this one right here, this one is $30. I do want to show you how opaque they do get. So I just want to show you that how people have been applying them. So I'm just gonna put like a thick amount of pearl onto the back of my palm and then show you underneath the light. Even rubbing them onto the back of my palm, there's still that much pearl left on. Now this is a lot more opaque, but do you guys see like how this glistens? And if you are under like bright studio lighting, like do you see the difference? Like you're not gonna see it as much, but if you are under sunlight or any sort of like even like downward lighting from your home, this is how they look. Like camera does not show how amazing these are in person. I wanted you guys to have a mirror when you were applying these. None of these single eyeshadows comes with a mirror. All of these things drive up the cost. I have been wanting to launch this formula for the last 3 years, but my team and I have had so many discussions on if this was the right formula to launch. But as an artist, I want the quality of my products to be the best that you can get out there, and this is truly that. This eyeshadow will stand the test of time. Innovation takes around 2 years to bring something to market. Whatever is launching 4 or 5 years from now, I know that I will still be obsessed with the way that this formula applies. But at the end of the day, the formula will speak for itself. I want you guys to go into Sephora, swatch this on the back of your palm, and see if it compares to many other formulas. There's not many like this on the market. So I do think that this is special and I do think that you will love it. And if you are able to give it a chance.
So we're gonna have a little look at these. I'm gonna do a few comparisons. I would highly recommend checking out as well Teresa Mulhern's video where she swatches every single one of these in different lightings, real lighting, just a phone light, low light, everything like that. Also Lauren May Beauty does a really good review of these as well, and Heather Austin as well does a really great review. I'm gonna link all of them below because I would suggest if you are interested in these, or you're not quite sure, or you're on the borderline of trying to form an opinion of whether or not these are worth it, I would watch their unbiased reviews. They're just factual, looking at the shades, doing some great comparisons, and seeing how they are. My review is gonna be pretty I'm gonna give my opinion quite strongly, as I do, but of course my opinion isn't the be all and end all of everything. So let's get into it. Please do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know your opinions on these eyeshadows down below. Now these retail at $42. Let me double check that because yes, $42. There are a few different shades. I only got 3. I say only got 3, but honestly I didn't get them all because I wasn't very interested in these eyeshadows. I just wasn't. I do like Patrick Tar products. I actually have all their palettes. Eyeshadows, cheek ones. I really do enjoy their products. I think they're beautiful. I think it's high-end. I think it's that luxury vibe. So when I saw the price for these, I wasn't that shocked. You also get some high-end eyeshadows that are a similar price for a single. You know what I mean? Or around $30 for a single. So to be honest, the price point isn't an issue for me. I haven't tried them yet. They might be really shit, but if they are really good, then the price point isn't an issue for me. What is an issue for me? I think we live in this world at the moment where we have so many incredible indie brands, drugstore brands doing the best thing ever. Do we live in a world where a product being $42 is justifiable? That's what I want to know. Despite how it's made, don't care how it's made, do we need that process? You know what I mean? Or can you get something cheaper looks-wise? If it looks the same, what's the point? But of course, at the same time as well, if you want to spend $42 on an eyeshadow and you have the money to do so, great, happy for you, you do what you need to do. Okay, so let's take a little look at these. Let's start with a shade, We Need Better Lighting. I have to say, I'm not a fan of the names. I just think they're a little bit cheesy. So we have We Need Better Lighting, Do You Know Who I Am, I'm With Her, and there's some other ones. It's just like, who is this person talking? Okay, so this is We Need Better Lighting. Looking at them here, first impression, they do look impressive. They look smooth. They look glowy, like they have a glow within the thing. I can see how they look. I don't need to swatch them and be like, wow, they already look quite smooth. They're a little bit drier than I would have thought, but that is a nice, so one's a little bit more white silver, one's a little bit more gold. First impression is I'm not that impressed. Even just wiping it on my hand here, you do get like a kickback from some of the shimmer. It's kind of almost like jumping out. I thought it would have been a bit more, considering how it's made, that slurry kind of, I would have thought it would have been a little bit more compact, a little bit smoother than that. It does feel kind of dry. And to me, it's over. Now, listen, I don't like glitter, but I'm not judging this on glitter and, you know, me not liking glitter. I know people like it, and I have used, of course, products on people that do. They're nice, but initially there's nothing where I'm like, oh, wow. Whereas there's some eyeshadows that you swatch and you're like, holy shit. This is Do You Know Who I Am? Again, the shades look incredible. They look like just so bright. See, that's better. Holy shit, that is nice. That is really nice. Okay, I'm a bit confused because this shade, do they have different names? This top one in this pan, wet. That's beautiful. That is, that I could lick that. That it looks hydrating. That is, it's stunning. So in my mind, just from swatching these two, this top one feels like a different formula to this one. This feels a little bit drier. It feels a little bit more like, oh, that's like a shimmer. Like you can feel the shimmer. Whereas this feels like, but you know, when you use a multi-chrome and it's just like wet, that's what this one feels like. So all together, this one feels different to this. This feels like, it's a bit shimmery, it's a bit shiny. Whereas this feels like, yes, I would pay $42 for this. So let me go to the next one. This is a pink one. It's called I'm With Her. Looks like this. Again, it feels different to the first one. I'm not much of a pinky person, but they look really nice. They look really pretty. They do feel really nice. They feel like they glide quite well. A few things that I'm a little bit like, from looking at them online is they were kind of swatched in like a lower light situation or showed off in a lower light situation. And I feel like if you have a product, unless it's like a UV product where it has to be under UV light, I feel like if you're like, it looks good, but only in lower light, it's not that great an option. You know what I mean? It's so beautiful though. It is a really beautiful shade. Let's try it on my lid and just see how it looks. I'm going to use a flatter brush on one eye, and then I do want to use my finger on the other side, just so we have both options. Like, this just looks wet. It really does look really beautiful. Like, it's fine. Now, okay, so I'm looking at that and it's not any more impressive than any other eyeshadow I would use that has a shimmer to it. Let me get my finger on it. I do have quite like a sticky primer on. I have the Sigma eye primer on my lid, which is quite sticky, like in a dry way. It's not like a glue, which I don't actually have. I probably should have got one for this review. I'm just going to tap my finger on top of this one and get it even. I was going to take the lighter shade and just do some on the inside corner just to give myself a little bit of a highlight there. It's like, it's fine. I'm not overly overwhelmed. Like, it doesn't look like a shocking, you know, shimmer, or I'm not like, oh my god, go out and buy this. It's I've never experienced anything like it. It seems like, just for lack of a better word, regular. There's nothing overwhelmingly $42 about it. Again, I know it's because of the way it was made, but if the way it was made is, you know, prices it up more, then, and it just gives you a regular result, I don't care how it was made then. You know what I mean? Like, if I go to a restaurant and there's, you know, a steak and it's $100, or there's one that's $10 and they both taste the same, I don't care how it was prepared if I'm going to get the same result. And that's kind of how I feel about this. So swatches are nice, right? Like, we can swatch something and it's fine, but you never really go onto your eyelid, or you shouldn't really be going onto your eyelid with that much pressure of a swatch. So although swatches can be quite impressive and you get an idea, it's not really the be all and end all of how a product looks. I did want to make a few comparisons just to see how they are, because a lot of people are saying, you know, it looks like this, it looks like this, which I really don't think it does. One of them being, where did I leave it? Oh yes, these ones. The e.l.f. Finest Fleck Glitter Eyeshadows. I don't think this is meant to be a dupe of the Patrick Tar ones. I actually think it's meant to dupe the Urban Decay eyeshadows, which tend to have more of a shimmer, like individual specks of glitter, whereas these seem to be more of a smoother shine. For example, yeah, completely different feel. This is one of the e.l.f. ones. Oh, I can tell you right now, it's nowhere near. So this one is e.l.f. This one's Patrick Tar. I didn't think they look the same, but they actually kind of do. They both have this like wet finish to them. Close up, you can kind of see how they look, but again, it's a swatch, like you won't use that much color. So when it's actually on the lid, I didn't think it would look the same, but it kind of does. I don't think it is a dupe for these products though. It's not. It's just a really nice glittery eyeshadow. It's not the same as these Patrick Tar eyeshadows by any means. The texture is completely different. The finish, you get a shine, but it kind of has like a undertone of another color, so I wouldn't say they're the same. Another one was Colourpop Super Shocks, which I do really love. I love these things, and made in a similar way. It's like that wet, slurry situation. That's how it looks in my hand, just so you get an idea of the finish. Again, that kind of high shine. I do think for Patrick Tar wins this one because it does have that extra level of like shine. Again, not an exact dupe. I did then also want to compare the gold to the gold from this Unalicia palette. So this is Unalicia, this is Patrick Tar here. Sorry, ignore this one. This is, again, you don't quite get that intense shine, but then again, you don't on the lid. That's the color I'm wearing on my lid. Now this is from my palette ad with Colourpop from Divination palette, but that level of shine, like these are very similar. Look how much shine they both have. They're just beautiful. They're just really, really stunning. And you can get that from an indie palette, which it costs just slightly more than $42 for a huge palette. Not just mine, loads of indie brands, loads of palettes, especially from Blend Bunny. So I wouldn't be going around saying it's the best thing. There's not an exact dupe. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna scrape some out and I'm gonna mix it with some Inglot Duraline and just see how that looks. So this then makes it more like a paint. Not much better, to be honest with you. No, that's shit. Okay. It didn't mix with that very well. Actually mixes with it terribly. Okay, no, that's a no. A little bit disappointing, to be honest with you. It looks fine. It looks like a shimmer eyeshadow, but there's nothing that makes it, for me, any kind of stand out. This is great, this is amazing, anything like that. Listen, if you want to spend $42 on it, go for it. Be my guest. Yes, I made a massive dent in it. Be my guest. I could give or take. These aren't life changing. I don't have this urge to want to use them again anytime soon. I will because I own them now, but I'm not like, oh wow, I can't wait to use these again. Like some products I do, you know, think about when I'm going to use them next, stuff like that. Yeah, do with that what you will. I wouldn't recommend, I have to be honest, I wouldn't recommend them. I wouldn't, because it's just, unless you have money to spare, then great, you know what I mean? But if you like the packaging, you collect the brand, maybe, but there's nothing about them that warrants, apart from the making process, how much they are for what they are. I wouldn't say this is $42 worth of eyeshadow on my eyes. Again, yes, we know the process of making them does, but in terms of the finish, I wouldn't look at this on my eyes and think, wow, expensive. Everything else in this brand, by the way, don't let this be a reflection of the brand, because the brand is incredible. And yes, they had to do this in a way where this is how they had to be priced. They didn't have to make the product, but it's a higher end brand, you know? If you're not someone who, you know, loves a brand and buys stuff from a brand constantly, maybe, or has never used a brand before and wants to start using it, this isn't the best place to start, I would say. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know your opinions down below. I'm going to finish up my eye makeup, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.